afternoon, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card that we are starting our day off with today is Strength card in its reversal. Remember some of that heavy energy that we saw yesterday? Well, it's still here. We saw this card yesterday. It's back today. Energy collectively right now is feeling very raw, feeling very vulnerable. If you're feeling a little bit like bottom of the barrel, this is probably why. Guys, we had the combination of an eclipse with the new moon in Libra. So while this may be allowing for a lot of equalizing to come into play right now, it could be feeling like somewhat like a purge. It can almost be feeling like that explosive purge kind of energy for everyone right now. So having that point right now, coming into a state of easement, allowing oneself to find places and spaces where you can be your most vulnerable, authentic sense of self is going to be very important right now. May I please have the second card in our 5-card spread for today? Second card for today is, we have here our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy, this is going to feel a little bit different, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. Thank you for the gift. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership at this moment. This is more of that articulation in terms of what we are recognizing that we saw yesterday. Thank you for that incredible gift, Mercy. What we saw yesterday as it relates to the collective energies. Now, what did we see in the partnered energies yesterday? We saw the fact that even for the energies in partnership, even for the partnered energies right now, it was the fact that there was energy about mirroring one another. The problem with the mirroring is that feminine and masculine had different desires in terms of what to do in the face and space of feeling some situations or scenarios that were causing them to feel somewhat triggered. Feminine was in a point where they were feeling kind of put out. They wanted to connect with the masculine. They wanted to move closer to the masculine. Masculine was feeling the same level of trigger. What did masculine want in that moment? Masculine wanted space. Masculine wanted a point of feeling some level or degree of frustration, the solitude, the inability of finding solitude in partnership at this moment. And this may have caused a lot of communication yesterday, even in partnership, around some things that masculine is effectively choosing to carry within the self right now, because masculine energy doesn't effectively feel confident in terms of their expression of what they're feeling. This may have been a bit of that moment, particularly that we saw for the masculine energy yesterday in partnership, of potentially feeling like they were white knuckling something. We even saw, and I needed to stress this, I kept describing the energy yesterday, almost feeling like a bit of a powder keg. We even saw something where the masculine energy may not have wanted to talk about something yesterday because there was almost a defensiveness that was potentially coming up in their own desire to protect the feminine from something that they were going through yesterday, where the masculine may not necessarily have even trusted their own instincts. One of those feelings of like, once I get started, I'm not going to stop. I literally was making the joke yesterday to make sure that nobody got arrested because we saw the fact that the energy was feeling so volatile that there was almost like a lack or degree of trust that both energies were feeling in partnership because of the frustration or inability to assist the other in terms of what they were feeling. Feminine may have even felt a little bit triggered in the fact that masculine was pushing away from them a bit, but this is why, because masculine must have a hard time navigating how they were feeling versus how they wanted to react to something. We're seeing a little bit more of this today coming through as it relates to almost the exhaustion point of carrying this energy in that capacity yesterday. Masculine may be feeling a little bit overburdened right now. It may be even requiring the masculine energy right now that is feeling this to have to assess their own ability or level to commit to things. There could even be a feeling right now for the masculine energy of having, and feminine actually in partnership at this moment, of having overcommitted oneself to something potentially even outside of the partnership in question that you are now feeling some level or degree of frustration upon. Why? Because you're not feeling like moving forward on these obligations and plans today. This is almost like creating a space or place that we see that both masculine and feminine would rather just come into a state of easement, but circumstances and situations around them today aren't effectively allowing that to be possible. Masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership at this moment. This is more of that articulation in terms of what we were seeing yesterday that may have caused so much of the energy to move back into separation. Why did we see that? Because we almost saw in best case scenario yesterday for the energies trying to come into partnership, there was a feeling of volatility between both of the energies. Both energies were moving in the same capacity in feeling deeply triggered by the other one. Feminine, best case scenario, it was potentially leading you to a space or place where you were being very cautious on what you were saying because of how you were feeling, because there was a lack of trust towards a masculine that you thought or were seeing some level or degree of anxiety or fear rising up in. Masculine was feeling a level or desire of or point of fear yesterday based on how much they've communicated to feminine, and either seeing that withdrawal and not understanding it, or potentially each energy having effectively taken something that was said from a point of trust, from a point of confidence, and utilized it in a non-positive, productive fashion that is further creating this point of feeling triggered and drawing away. This is either resulting right now in, again, even for the energies trying to come into partnership right now, a feeling of frustration that may be arising in these energies in terms of recognizing or feeling this sensation that maybe in these partnerships you're starting to feel like nothing that you do is being taken the way that you would ideally desire it to be, or simultaneously that nothing that you're able to bring forth seems to be getting the results that you would effectively desire. This is again almost leading to a space or place of mirroring in these energies in terms of saying, what do I need to bring forth to this to try to fix it? And is it possible? This is more of that energy from yesterday. So there's even going to be a strain right now on the energies trying to come into partnership to try to identify what the other wants or what the other is actually offering. Now, for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation, this is literally just the continuation of what we saw yesterday. Masculine and feminine energy in separation effectively almost didn't want anything to do with each other yesterday. Potentially even because we saw a lot of that energy yesterday moving into separation, which was, again, it's not just the fact that someone is focusing on their own goals or aspirations right now. What was so triggering yesterday was that something was evolving that was effectively leading to a state or space of distrust for the opposition, the other energy. That distrust, that lack of ability to communicate or feel like there's a safe space to communicate from right now is effectively leading the energies in separation, not necessarily to want to put forth right now, even in building a connection right now with the oppositional energy. So there may be a lot of moments right now that both of these energies are feeling somewhat vulnerable. There's a moment right now in terms of asking if there's even a desire for partnership at this moment, given how you are feeling, because there's almost, again, some feeling or level of fear or betrayal that is rising up right now in each energy, either, again, based on present experiences that just occurred that have led to separation, or metaphysical moments of, again, either something from the past rising back up that's making you confront it, that was just weighing very heavily on both of the energies. Third card for our 5-card spread for today is, we have, oh my goodness, we have here the Hermit card, which makes a lot of sense. We saw this in its reversal yesterday. Now, masculine and feminine energy. This is exactly what we were talking about in partnership or union right now as it relates to potentially having overcommitted oneself to obligations right now that you would rather not. This could really just be feeling like if you're in partnership or union right now, it's just like this need or this feeling of having or desiring to kind of move into a space or place of, again, finding comfort in isolation, potentially even being able to find that comfort in being alone with each other. Because what happened yesterday for the energies that were in partnership, falling together on something, masculine and feminine needed space yesterday. Masculine and feminine were feeling claustrophobic in the partnership. Masculine and feminine were providing it to each other in partnership. So now it's almost like the comfort has been found in the partnership. The frustration is the things and spaces and places that are pulling you towards them right now when you're just not necessarily feeling like you're in the mood to. There's something here where both energies in union and partnership right now just want to stay to themselves. Now, this could even be a lot of withdrawing from plans or obligations as a result of this today. Masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership right now. This is more of that isolation. The energies trying to come into partnership right now may feel a lot like, it's going to feel a lot almost like separation. There could even be a moment right now of self-inquiry that is effectively occurring, because we saw that there were some very triggering things that were happening for the energies trying to come into union yesterday. This energy is now almost a moment where we may even be seeing energies trying to come into partnership, wondering and asking if that is even possible, maybe even some confusion points about where something is and where it lies, specifically due to the fact that, again, these energies are still mirroring one another, but they've gone into solitude in the process. So this is that moment that is both, again, almost going to feel like especially if some energy did not take my advice yesterday and spoke out in a way that did not feel like it was in the direction of positivity or productivity. This could be feeling like a lot of nursing of wounds today. This could be feeling like a lot of retreating to nurse one's wounds in isolation, and then to contemplate whether there is an ability to recover from something, whether there is still an opportunity or offer here. This could be feeling like a lot of confusion and uncertainty right now that is requiring a lot of internal journeying. For even the energies that are potentially trying to come into partnership right now, it's going to feel a lot more in a way like you're in separation. You could even be unsure right now if you are in separation or still trying to come into partnership at this moment. Masculine and feminine energy in separation, this is more staying in that degree. This is giving yourself the peace. This is feeling vulnerable, finding the peace in solitude, and almost not necessarily wanting to put any time, effort, and energy in building a connection right now. So for the energies that are in separation, this is almost like the energy being like, I guess I'm just going to be like this forever. This is more of that continuation that we saw yesterday that was coming through. But really what we like to see here is it's requiring a lot of internal contemplation. There's a lot of deep healing that is happening here, but it is requiring a point of like holding back, because there's a lot of vulnerability here. This is very expected right now with the eclipse on top of the full moon in Libra. The new moon in Libra. A lot of that raw energy, almost feeling like it's scraping the bottom of the barrel to help you decide how to go forward from this point. Fourth card for our 5-card spread for today is, we have here, I want you guys to be careful about what you're saying today. Again, this could be some of that energy that we identified yesterday as it relates to potentially speaking out of turn, saying something that you didn't actually mean. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership right now, this isn't so bad. This did not necessarily come through so much as something that you were saying or doing to each other, so much as the fact that there is something here that is rising up for the partnered energies that has to do with what feels like it is beneficial for the partnerships, as it were. Because what we're effectively seeing right now is masculine and feminine energy in partnership or in divine union right now are feeling the ick in terms of some obligations that they made, that they feel that they have to move forward on, but they're feeling somewhat bound to. This is potentially even having some internal observation between yourselves right now to really decide if there's anything productive from some of these obligations that you may not necessarily be feeling inclined to follow through on, to try to decide. In a way, this is funny because it's almost like the energies in partnership saying, what would be worse? Would it be worse to withdraw from something and kind of like look like the negative character in the fact that one has to say no to something or back out of something? Or would it be worse to invest in something that one isn't fully invested in for the sake of the fact that you're already invested? This could be a lot of that conversation that's happening right now. Again, more of that like masculine and feminine partnership right now, pulling inwards away from things as they continue to move forward from this point, because both energies are feeling very vulnerable and not feeling very social right now. Masculine and feminine energy coming into partnership Again, I don't even want to say coming into partnership at this time, because this is one of those moments that even for the energies trying to come into partnership at this moment, it may feel like, am I still going into partnership? Are we? I don't know. Are we? Because again, and especially if there were some bells yesterday that shouldn't have been rung. I warned you guys that the energy yesterday was a powder keg between masculine and feminine, both feeling triggered, both feeling like there was the opportunity to say something from a point of, again, for masculine from a point of fear, for feminine from a point of hurt, to protect themselves. And this may have led to a moment or degree where, again, this is a lot of licking of wounds. This is a lot of retreat energy that we're seeing here for both of these energies as they try to go internal. Potentially not a lot of communication right now for the energies trying to come into partnership, because this is now the assessment that's happening. It's trying to identify if there is something positive that can come from this, because there's definitely now some kind of acknowledgement of something that is unhealed and needs to be corrected. So either yesterday we saw a lot of energy moving back into separation, something being said, some doors being closed, while even like this is almost like the recovery for some of that energy that's still trying to work back into union, to try to identify and say, is the other energy in a space or state that they can heal? Or is this becoming an unhealthy or unhealed karmic connection? This is the issue around these right now. This is that moment that is trying to identify and articulate if there is something positive and healing that can come through on this. Or is this driving towards something that looks like it is unhealed? Observation of a cycle is a cycle that can be corrected. So this is that some of that internal navigation, potentially even observing your own faults as it relates to something that occurred yesterday, to assess your own level of culpability in terms of who brought in this energy. Now, masculine and feminine energy that is in separation at this time, this is going to feel more like that, get away from me. This is going to feel a lot more like back off, like stay away, stay back, like masculine and feminine energy right now. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. This is just that moment where I'm not sure what caused the trigger here. Something even occurred. Again, for the energy that just went into separation, we obviously know why. There's something here that was a wound that just occurred. This is a very fresh, raw wound in terms of whatever this is, if this pushed you into separation yesterday. For the other energy, there's something here that is that energy of the eclipse, the new moon in Libra, building that bottom of the barrel, like having to really look at something to be able to find balance, making choices right now. I'm going to say this, making choices right now, not from a state of emotionality, but difficult decisions based on what you feel creates balance for you, is why we see that a lot of this energy right now is pursuing a path of specifically solitude right now. Because what's really getting uncovered here for the energy that is in separation right now is some observation of something that needs to be healed in order to consider, and in order to really become invested in the possibility of partnership again. Fifth card in our 5-card spread for today is, we have here 3 of Wands in its reversal. When I say communication right now is probably feeling a little stilted, I mean it probably is feeling a little stilted, if not like completely eradicated in some spaces and places right now. Why? Because what we are effectively seeing for the energies that are in divine union and partnership, this is more external observations around situations or scenarios that you may just be feeling like you're ready to move away from because you don't see any positive, productive path forward on them. This could be a lot of that internal conversation that is happening within the partnerships at this moment to identify what feels like it is leading you on the path of clarity versus what is now necessarily something that you may be feeling obligated towards, but doesn't really feel like it's taking you in the direction that you would ideally desire to go. There could be a lot of this mutual conversation that is happening right now for the energy and divine union and partnership, but it's all for the sake of, again, the partnership wanting almost more energy to themselves. Masculine and feminine energy that is working right now in union and partnership are effectively just trying to get some of their own time back. This is them just wanting to have some of that solitude, enjoying the comfort of the partnership, and almost helping them kind of, again, utilizing this new moon combination with the eclipse to say what creates a better sense of balance in our day-to-day. Libra, new moon. Masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership. This is now potentially a situation we're seeing where there's a point of separation, or there's a point of distance. There's a point of internal contemplation that's effectively happening right now. There may not be a lot of communication occurring because, again, potentially some trigger has been hit. The energy was either deeply triggered yesterday from a lack of communication, or something was said, maybe even on both sides. Things that were said that caused some kind of wound, that caused some kind of rift. It is creating a moment that for the energies trying to come into partnership right now, there's almost a necessary retreat that's effectively occurring. As some wounds here are tended, as some injuries are experienced, both energies are reflecting each other. They are feeling vulnerable. There's a question, maybe even potentially questioning if the possibility of partnership is still desired by the other party, and looking at something from a point of solitude to identify if what is wrong, because this is clearly an observation point of what is wrong. The better question, the $1 million question right now, is whether there's a path through it. Identifying the source of the issue, even potentially recognizing your own culpability in it, is what is now trying to build a point of clarity to identify if there is a positive, productive path moving forward, or if this is leading you back into separation. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Strength card in its reversal in combination with our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. We like to see this card here, our Page of Wands. So what are we really seeing here? Again, masculine and feminine energy that are in partnership or union right now. This is more of what we are identifying in terms of the idea of falling together instead of apart. It's not the fact that you guys needed a wide berth that you gave each other yesterday. You may be articulating upon it right now. There may even be a moment right now that this is now building some of those tentative conversations that weren't coming through in the partnership yesterday, because we saw that both energies were at a bit of an exhaustion point or a loss as it relates to communication, even for the energies in divine union and partnership at this time, that may be articulating spaces and places where you yourself are uncertain how to proceed in order to get the advice in terms of going forward. This is, again, the beauty and the strength of the partnerships, the divine union partnerships, utilizing those moments that you're not sure what to do, where you're feeling vulnerable. How are you coming through them? You're communicating. You're communicating with each other. You're using your words. You're using your words in terms of your feelings of vulnerability and what you can and cannot provide the other person at this time. And it is leading to productive communication, albeit maybe even, again, a lot of new approaches, a lot of new ideas coming to the forefront, particularly as it relates to potentially some obligations that you're carrying right now that you wished you weren't. Masculine and feminine energy right now that is trying to come into union and partnership. This is going to be the clarification as to whether something is possible right now. It is not the fact that there were not wounds that were equally carried yesterday. Something that was either said or something that was not said. Some wound that is now being a trigger point that both energies are carrying. Everything depends, much like a mirror, on almost a point of anticipation where each energy is waiting for the other to communicate. So there could be a lot of this feeling right now of expectation, because there's almost an uncertainty that we're seeing for both energies right now that are mirroring and reflecting this back to each other, almost asking, are they going to come back? Are they going to respond? Or is this the closing out of a cycle? Masculine and feminine energy right now in separation. This is that moment that, again, the energy in separation, this is that point that we're seeing you're feeling this level or degree of exhaustion. You're feeling very vulnerable. You don't feel the need or desire to put forth. And this is going to be the problem right now for the energy in separation. You're waiting for another person to reach out to you. This is almost like the masculine and feminine energy being at this point of like, this is like the new moon eclipse hangover, being like, I am not putting anything out there, but if someone communicates with me, I'll respond. The problem is both energies are in that same exact vibration. They're like, I'm waiting for them. I'm not doing it. I don't have the energy. But the problem is you're both doing it. So again, you guys want alignment? Congratulations. Here's your alignment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. The alignment is like parallel, two parallel lines not intersecting. Continuing to get clarification right now between our Page of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Hermit card. May I please have one card to clarify? This is good. 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 We're seeing improvement throughout the day here. Listen. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership at this time, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. What is occurring right now in terms of, again, having this point of view, having this feeling of frustration, potentially even feeling like one overcommitted to things that you no longer desire to put your energy in, potentially even asking the other person like how to proceed forward, trying to get clarity in terms of what your bandwidth is, what it isn't. Because, again, the masculine and feminine energy in partnership wants to collect that, their own time back. They want some period of isolation to allow for new opportunities, new possibilities to occur. Masculine and feminine energy may even be utilizing this time right now to come up with new ideas, to come up with new plans. This is that moment that is almost like, again, that energy, the beautiful energy of the partnership, the ability of the partnership to allow this space or place of feeling the beauty of solitude in the partnership itself is what is almost creating this like wellspring of creativity right now. This is going to feel like a lot of that like circling of the wagons, if you will, for the energy that is in divine union and partnership. And it's almost like a point, again, of terms of like pushing back on those outside obligations, because it's almost like you don't necessarily feel the need or the desire to move outside the partnership because everything that you want is within it. Masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership right now, this is effectively it. There is a mutual feeling right now of something having almost like reached a point of explosion yesterday. Maybe even it felt, again, either two energies triggering each other and bouncing back, staying away from each other because of it, or potentially having said something that you didn't desire to say, maybe even a point of recalibration right now. It is the articulation on that recalibration right now that is effectively going to make or break whether there is a possibility of recovery right now. And it all hinges on what is communicated at this time. And I need to stress, the problem with this communication that is so important right now for the energy that is trying to come into divine union or partnership is it has to be different. It's not just the fact here that communication may come back. There's a moment right now where both energy is not just looking for the other one to start that communication, but they want them to come back with a bit of a breakthrough. They want them to be the person that has the breakthrough. This is why it's so difficult right now for the energies in partnership, because they're both, the desire is both equally there. The problem is who starts that? Who apologizes first? Who comes through with a solution? Who is able right now to make an accommodation point to show the other energy that healing is possible because change is possible? For the energies right now that we are seeing that's trying to come into union, this observation of this devil energy is requiring something different to be seen in this act of rectifying right now. And that is going to shape the difference as to whether this is going to be a continuation point in terms of moving back into divine union area, or if this is just that point of new opportunities, new energy, separation, walking in a different direction because you're not seeing that change. And there may be an energy right now for both masculine and feminine in waiting for the other person to effectively heal whatever this rift is that occurred yesterday that left both energies feeling so triggered or potentially damaged. Masculine and feminine energy that is in separation right now, this is literally giving a lot of energy right now in terms of put off for tomorrow what you don't feel like doing today. This is actually this point of empowering. I'm almost seeing here that in a way, this like rejection or moving away right now from the masculine or feminine energy, there's almost an observation for the energy in separation right now in terms of saying, this too shall pass. That this is just a momentary feeling, that you're taking this time for yourself right now, even with that, and almost recognizing that you're in a very vulnerable place right now, and almost saying to yourself, it's okay, I'm going to give myself this space because it's going to reinvigorate me, it's going to re-energize me later, right? This is almost like a recognized point of recuperation that you're providing yourself at this time, recovering from that combination of, again, the eclipse with the new moon. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Hermit in combination with our Devil card. Heavy cards. This is going to feel like a lot of assessment, not just in terms of what you are experiencing today, but this is why it's so vulnerable. What is yours to carry as it relates to what needs to be healed versus what is potentially someone else's? May I please have one card to clarify? Yeah. Unhealed karmic energy. Masculine and feminine energy right now in partnership. As I mentioned, some of the issue in divine union right now could be a point of observation in terms of shedding or moving away from some energy outside of the partnership, identifying something that either needs to be healed or potentially determining that there's something here that can't be healed. This could be, again, outside energy related to the partnership. This could be unhealed connections with friends, family, close associates, obligations. Again, the assessment in terms of recognizing and saying, is this something that can be accommodated? Can it move into a space or place of positivity? Or is this a situation or scenario that is just creating more problems? There's almost a point of acknowledgement or assessment right now that the partnered energies may be giving to identify, again, if there's something that can be accommodated for within the self, or if there's some point of observation around this that is showing that it is requiring too much from the partnered energies to be able to put forth to something to heal it, that is almost potentially requiring them to make the decision to pull away from something at this time. Or a question and investigation in terms of how to heal or fix these unhealed scenarios. Masculine, and it's going to feel potentially triggering. This is more of that trauma that may have been unearthed over the last few days that was requiring the masculine and feminine to pull away from each other. Remember, even identifying the masculine getting kind of frustrated on something that they couldn't necessarily feel like they could help one another with. This is facing it now. This is having that space now to face it that is allowing for a degree of empowerment. Masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership right now. The question of this is happening between both of you. We are seeing here that, again, potentially something occurred yesterday that really brought something to the forefront. Masculine and feminine both feeling highly triggered. How you handled that trigger may have made a huge impact, especially if you spoke out in a way in terms of taking something that was either said in confidence or something that made the other one feel afraid or anxious or disempowered. We are seeing here masculine and feminine, even if they're trying to come into partnership right now, are having an internal moment of observation to analyze the partnership in question, to identify what is effectively wrong in the partnership, and to articulate and identify, if this is something where there will be a mutual ability to heal something because it's going to take the work of two, or if this is something that is just caught in a harmful cycle, i.e. an unhealed karmic connection that is not showing the ability to agree to heal, which is creating more of a blocker instead of a path forward. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation, this is going to feel like a lot of heaviness, because this is a point potentially right now in separation where masculine and feminine energy, the reason you're not feeling the ability to move forward right now is because of the unhealed karmic connections. Remember when I said that some of you are feeling triggered yesterday from past situations, from past circumstances preventing you from going forward? This is because you are taking time for yourself to really assess these. A lot of this moment right now that is effectively looking at these and really feeling the weight of the unhealed situation or circumstance, but also identifying the reason you're feeling that pain is because it takes two energies to desire healing. This is why we're seeing that this is a blockage, because this is not necessarily even something that you feel that you can take steps to fix for yourself at this time, because there's a point of recognition that there is only so much you can do. You may even feel like you've done everything you can in these. You're just having to bear the weight of something that you desire to potentially heal, that you're now having to just hold as something that is feeling almost like a harmful connection that you just have to navigate, much like you would an unhealed coping mechanism. Now, continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, between our Devil card in combination with our Three of Wands in its reversal. May I please have one card? Clarification coming through right now with Knight of Swords. So, remember when I said yesterday, like, masculine, I didn't want anybody to go to jail yesterday. I told you there was something that was happening yesterday for the energies in union or partnership, that I even said in partnership, be very cautious with your actions, because we saw the fact that the masculine was feeling highly triggered. There was almost a point yesterday where feminine was seeing that masculine was pulling back, and masculine was pulling back to a certain extent because something that they were experiencing or seeing was occurring to the feminine was so difficult for them to articulate that they were almost not trusting themselves potentially because of their own desire or degree to want to take action in a way that they weighed, that they knew might not necessarily be the desire of the other energy. This is masculine continuing to feel some of this. It's going to still feel like a little bit of this energy for masculine right now, where you want to take a lot of action on something and you're feeling the frustration in being unable to do so. This is either, again, from a feminine energy that you and they made to have a point of disparity as it relates to how you want to address something right now. Potentially even, and especially if there are unhealed karmic energies surrounding the partnership right now. This could be masculine energy wanting to take a very direct approach in terms of how to handle these. This could be feminine effectively even having to say to the masculine right now in partnership, no. Like, don't open cans of worms here. Don't open like this. This is not a situation or circumstance that would allow for that to be productive, is almost what we're seeing here. It's almost creating a space or place where there needs to be some kind of like calibration that is happening right now in the partnership. And masculine may even have to communicate right now to the feminine, this is what I think we should do. This is what, how I would take this. And feminine may be saying to them, short-sighted. Like, that may feel good in the moment, but that's short-sighted. This could almost be the conversation that masculine and feminine in divine union are having right now, is like masculine wanting to really rush forward on something, either giving advice on something or articulating to the feminine what they would really like to do. Maybe even either saying to the feminine, I'm not going to do that, but that's what I want to do right now. Or this is feminine effectively having to tell the masculine, absolutely not, do not do that, because something about what is being articulated upon right now is still triggering the masculine, even in partnership. And this could be feeling like a lot of frustration right now, even if you're in partnership, masculine. So if you're feeling this, I want you to be drinking your water. I want you to be like taking some clean, calm breaths, maybe go take a walk. But make sure that, again, much like yesterday, think before you act. Make sure that you're thinking about the long term instead of how you're immediately feeling. Okay? Now, masculine and feminine energy, that is trying to come into partnership right now. This is going to feel like more of that point of frustration. And this is either going to be, again, a point that is make or break. Why? Because feminine is in a vibration right now where they want masculine to fix this. Feminine is feeling like there's something here. Again, feminine saw a point of uncertainty, a lack of confidence around the masculine that may have felt like a withdrawal for the feminine. May have even resulted in the feminine saying something not productive to the masculine yesterday because of that feeling of anxiety that the masculine was going to abandon them. This is, again, either a masculine energy that the feminine is watching to see whether it is running away from them, i.e. still showing that capacity of fear. Someone that cannot be depended upon when things are difficult but runs away from problems. Or whether the masculine energy is going to run back to the feminine to try to correct it. This is why the feminine is not moving towards the masculine right now if they are in trying to come into partnership, and even something occurred yesterday that resulted in some point of separation. This is a feminine energy that, again, they're not chasing this energy. They're not chasing this energy if it goes. They're just watching it go. Masculine, you are trying to decide this right now. Potentially, if you were going through something with the feminine, especially if the feminine may have said something that may have felt like it was very difficult for you to hear yesterday, which I warned you could have potentially happened because the feminine was feeling very triggered due to the fear that the masculine was going to abandon them. This is either that moment that you're either feeling like a point of feeling like there's no future you see in something, it's feeling too unhealthy, you are running away from it, or you are feeling the weight or degree of recognizing something that needs to heal. You are seeing the fact that, again, this is something that you are trying to run back towards to try to correct. Even at the same time, feeling the anxiety that might not be possible. Masculine and feminine energy, again, and I need to say for the masculine right now, if you're going back to these circumstances or situations, I want to stress that you go towards them with like an open mind and an open heart, because again, this is giving a lot of sense right now of potentially masculine energy, not necessarily coming back to the feminine to try to fix something, but more in a vibration where you're kind of potentially, there's a possibility here for the masculine energy, if you're in separation right now, to speak or act first without putting full consideration into a long-term path that may lead you on. So I'm going to say this again for the energy that is trying to come into partnership, particularly the masculine right now. Think carefully. Embody how you're feeling and then decide whether your immediate feeling, your immediate gut reaction, because you're feeling very triggered, is going to lead to the long-term plan that you are aspiring for, or if it's going to close a door. Okay? This could speak right now. I need to warn the masculine energy about some expression that could feel a lot like self-sabotage. So make sure that you are navigating this within the self. Move from a state of intentionality today. And think about what you're trying to create versus how you are feeling. Now, for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, this is effectively it. There could even be a moment right now that one of the reasons if feminine, again, if feminine energy is not in communication with masculine, this could be the heart or the reason, because we are effectively identifying, again, for the masculine and feminine energy in separation, there is a feeling of carrying the weight of an unhealed karmic energy. The feminine is staying firmly focused on not going back to situations and circumstances that have caused them any level or degree of harm. There could even be a moment right now where the feminine may be considering wanting to heal some of this karmic energy, but recognizing and feeling, this is why the feminine doesn't want to go back to this, that they don't feel like the masculine will be in a vibration that will allow them to heal something. This could even be assessing some feeling or degree where it feels like, again, there's nothing more that the feminine can come forward to provide to this unhealed karmic energy, because it only results in hostility and unhealed reactivity. This is why the feminine is feeling this exhaustion point, not moving forward right now, but just carrying the burden of an unhealed karmic connection, because this is the exhaustion point of a feminine that feels like they have done everything that they can do, but the only thing that they cannot control is the reactivity of the energy that they're trying to heal something with. And that is why it is such a point of pain and disappointment for the feminine right now, because they're effectively having to hold something that they desire to fix more than anything, but they recognize there is no possibility of them doing without the masculine showing an ability to heal in this scenario, which is why the feminine is not moving towards the masculine in this capacity, not wanting to create further situations that could be harmful to the feminine emotionally, spiritually, or metaphysically. Masculine right now, if you are in separation, you are effectively mirroring the feminine, except for one critical difference right now. You are going through this. You are also feeling the weight of this unhealed karmic connection. You are taking this time internally for yourself, but we are seeing here that you are effectively weighing your actions at this time. You are trying to discern and determine if there is something here that can create a path forward, or if something is just in a space or state that is going to remain unhealed. The problem right now is, again, assessing, making sure, because this is a lot of heaviness at play for the masculine right now. There's a lot of passion. There's potentially even some things that you want to say right now to that unhealed energy. The most, again, I'm going to repeat what I just said. The most valuable thing to consider right now, masculine, is your approach. Again, because we see here that you are trying to weigh how you want to go forward versus whether it is a wise idea, whether it is something that is going to create healing, or if you are identifying a space or place that is also creating a blockage for you. This is why we see both energies are, again, not necessarily moving towards anyone right now, because masculine energy, this is almost having to do this internal work in recognizing your own feelings right now, your own weight in terms of feeling connected to something that is blocking you from being able to move forward and wanting to take some action, but potentially not being sure what to do. And I need to stress again, making sure that you're not reactive in the process. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between Page of Wands and Ace of Wands. We love to see these cards. These are the best cards we pulled today, my friends. May I please have one card to clarify what we are seeing here? Card for clarification is one card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now. Knight of Wands in its reversal. So even for the masculine and the feminine energy today, I got to stress masculine energy today, even in partnership, there could be some feelings of frustration that are potentially occurring right now for the masculine energy. And this is why I say, like, making sure that you're channeling your energy into productive spaces today, masculine, is going to feel very important, because there is a feeling right now of stop, start, something that's happening right now for the masculine energy in partnership that is effectively causing this like point that's almost like interrupting your own flow state as it relates to the realms of your passion. I'm going to say it again. There may even be a moment right now where some of the masculine energy is, again, struggling. I'm getting here, struggling with, for the partnered energies right now, there's something about some point of communication coming through right now as it relates to some outside energy that's having some sort of impact potentially on the partnership, that is creating a state of reactivity for the masculine, wherein they want to take some action on something. This could even be the masculine articulating again to the feminine, saying like, I think this is what I would really like to do at this point. This is even the masculine being like, this is what I would really like to do around these circumstances or situations. Maybe even just verbalizing it to the feminine today. Remember when I said that there was all that pent up energy the masculine was trying to get a wide berth from feminine from? This is what they were carrying. This is feeling the weight of that. This is potentially the masculine articulating that to the feminine right now, giving the clarity to the feminine in partnership, saying, this is why I didn't say anything to you. This is what bothers me. I know, feminine even saying like, I don't want you to do that. Maybe the masculine even saying like, I know you don't want me to do that, but that's what I want to do. And this is that point of articulating. And this is why we're seeing that to a certain extent, the masculine was carrying this, asking for a birth from the feminine right now, even in partnership at this moment, because there's a point of recognizing something that the masculine energy was, again, like almost white knuckling. Recognizing to themselves that there's something that they desire right now that is not available to them, and just trying to navigate and mitigate that in the process. Feminine, you may be seeing this right now in the part of the masculine. Masculine may be articulating this to you even in partnership right now about their own feeling of frustration at this time versus what they want to do as opposed to what they know that they can't right now. Or even like needing you to almost like walk them. You may even be feeling right now, feminine, to a certain extent, that you have to like walk some masculine energy, even in partnership right now, a bit off the ledge in terms of their own feeling of frustration on something, asking them to get some perspective. Masculine and feminine energy right now, that is working on coming into union and partnership. This is literally, again, this is that make or break point. What's so difficult about this right now, and this is what is going to feel so heavy, is for a lot of this is potentially walking away from something. This is potentially feminine energy now walking away from masculine. Remember what I said the other day? Remember a few weeks ago? I said we saw masculine energy potentially walking away from a situation or scenario with feminine recognizing that they were creating an unhealed karmic connection in the process. This is feminine now potentially doing that. This is feminine now potentially looking and assessing. Feminine energy is basing in separation, because this is now feminine energy that's getting really close to being back into separation. It is all going to hinge on the masculine energy coming forth quickly with communication. Coming forth quickly. If there's a delay in the masculine energy trying to correct this is going to be a more closed door, and feminine energy is going back into separation, because this is now a situation or circumstance where the feminine energy is effectively looking towards the masculine energy. And they are now starting to feel the anxiety that this is a masculine energy that is not coming from a place of authenticity, but is instead only moving in a space or place of serving their own needs, serving their own desires, and potentially being very demanding in the process. There's a lot of energy here where the feminine is trying to see if the masculine energy in separate partnership, trying to come into partnership right now, that is feeling a lot like the separation point, has this point of recalibration. If they can correct for what they were doing, because feminine felt a fear of their own anxiety in walking away from something. Or is this a fickle masculine energy that does not stay near the feminine during difficulty? If they just move away when things get hard, does this energy fall apart, or do they fall together? Feminine energy is effectively weighing the masculine right now to see, because feminine is very much close to assessing if they do not show that ability to communicate through this right now, with that ability to change. Feminine energy is willing to close the door and walk away from this energy, feeling like it is only serving their own desires. Feminine could even be getting some advice right now from outside energy as it relates to how to handle these circumstances or situations. Maybe even going towards another masculine to articulate to them what potentially occurred that led to this rift in the first place, to make sure that they are also in alignment, because this is not just feminine energy like holding firm to this, but getting some kind of clarity from outside to be like getting that support. Masculine, if you are in separation right now trying to come into partnership, we see that you are also very much in this modality right now. The problem is you are feeling the uncertainty in terms of how to communicate. We are seeing here that there's, again, a point that you may have experienced. Feminine energy may have even said something to you that caused a bit of a trigger point. You're trying to decide right now if whatever was said, if this is something that you're even interested, invested in, still pursuing right now, or if this is something that you're potentially moving away from. There is also a point of assessment right now that is potentially happening for the energy that is trying to come into partnership at this moment as it relates to the masculine energy's own frustration around the blockages. Because this is either, again, masculine energy trying to come into partnership that is coming from, again, a space or place of humility, wanting to come back to the feminine, wanting to identify and recognize and say to the feminine effectively, I understand why you were triggered. I understand why you said those things. I recognize and see how my behavior made you not feel safe, made you not feel in a place or space. This is, again, the masculine energy either showing and recognizing, being able to come towards the feminine with that ability. Or this is masculine energy that is effectively saying that that is a bridge too far, that that is feeling too disempowering, that that is not necessarily moving towards what it is that you truly desire. But again, this is more of that assessment right now in terms of recognizing whether you effectively want to come into divine union or not right now. Because again, there's a lot of heaviness right here in terms of assessing whether this is something that can come into a space or healing, or if there's just cycles that are repeating. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that are in separation, this is the feminine energy only leaving themselves open to new communication that's coming towards them. This is a feminine that's not moving towards the masculine to a certain degree right now. They're waiting for the masculine to come towards them because there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of uncertainty as it relates to the feelings of weighing masculine energy that feels like it's only serving its own needs and desires right now. Feminine's not necessarily seeking it out. They're leaving themselves open and available to communication that feels like it is different. Feminine's giving that almost like that point of recovery right now as they go through this. Masculine right now, this is again that moment that we see. And again, we're almost seeing that the energy trying to come that's either in separation, almost like starting to move into, that partnership, potential partnership, moving back into separation, because these are very much in the same modality now. This is that masculine energy not being sure where to put their passion right now. There's almost a feeling of anxiety, of frustration that's rising up for the masculine in separation right now, because it's like you're feeling all of this creative energy, you're feeling all this passion, you don't have anywhere to put it. And it's almost like returning it to oneself, if you will, trying to come up with new ideas, new communications. This is giving more of that energy of masculine starting to put out those feelers again. Feminine's still very much resistant, but this is a masculine, but this is again the uncertainty of the masculine in terms of identifying what to do or how to do it. Because again, we're almost seeing here that this is like a bit of a learning curve that's now happening as it relates to how the masculine is communicating and what they're communicating to make sure that they're not being misunderstood. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Ace of Wands in combination with our Six of Cups in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with Queen of Swords in its reversal. This is the problem right now for the masculine and feminine energy in partnership at this moment. This is why the masculine energy is feeling so triggered by seeing something that the feminine is effectively going through right now. Because the masculine energy that is in divine partnership or union with the feminine right now, this is that point of activation, which is again, the masculine energy almost not wanting to communicate to the feminine and now potentially articulating why. Because the masculine energy is seeing something where the masculine energy in partnership feels like the feminine energy is too vulnerable to something. They're allowing too much. It's opening too much. And what is the feminine energy being too accommodating to the masculine energy in partnership? Unhealed karmic energy. This could even be for energies in partnership right now. This is a bit of the disparity point, because this is a masculine energy that's potentially saying to the feminine, You're leaving yourself too available to this energy. This energy doesn't appreciate you. This energy isn't healed. This energy might not necessarily, like, this is the masculine energy seeing the feminine in partnership right now, surrounded by what they are interpreting is unhealed energy. Masculine wants to take action on it. Masculine could even be saying and now articulating to the feminine, being like, I don't like to see you so vulnerable in this situation. This is the masculine, again, white knuckling it in partnership right now, wanting to proceed and take steps in some way, shape, or degree to defend a feminine that you're effectively seeing is in this modality. This could be feminine saying to the masculine, no. like this is that disparity again in terms of how to handle some circumstances or situations related to outside energy right now, where the masculine could be opening up to the feminine and almost the masculine saying like, I knew you were going to say that. This is why I wasn't telling you this before. The feminine's like, no, I got this. Just let it be the way it is. It's fine. Now, masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership right now. This is also why these two energies are mirroring. Because again, feminine energy is feeling the anxiety of being too vulnerable to an unhealed karmic energy that they feel a lot of passion for. Feminine energy is weighing to see if the masculine energy can observe what needs to be corrected here. Basically coming to the aid of a feminine that is feeling very vulnerable. Thank you for the gift. That is feeling very exposed. This may have even been a feminine energy that reacted or said something that they regret saying. This could even be the moment of the feminine either identifying and saying, I shouldn't have said that, building in their own level or degree of culpability as it relates to something that is unhealed. Or this is a feminine energy weighing and saying, I'm waiting for the masculine to show me that they also see that level and degree, that they know how to heal something, that they can recognize their own culpability. This could even be a feminine energy we're seeing right now. If the feminine energy is taking the first steps towards the masculine right now, it is only going to be in the space and the degree of the feminine energy having regretted something that they said yesterday, to try to articulate to the masculine, see, I am showing you that I have the ability to apologize when I've done something wrong. Are you capable of doing the same? Now, if the problem is, if the feminine feels like they're the one that requires the apology, this is it. If they don't get that apology, feminine energy is effectively saying, I'm done with this. I'm done. Masculine, this is again a moment that is potentially triggering because either again, this is a feminine energy. If they said something that they regretted yesterday, this could be them coming towards you today to articulate, to clarify, to show in some degree, you're seeing the fact that this feminine energy has this ability to adjust. The problem is right now, whether you are now too injured around something that you feel like this is something that can be modified or corrected. This is, again, a moment right now. It is not for the masculine energy, and this is what is so difficult right now for some of the masculine collective right now that's in this point of separation through whatever happened yesterday. This is either seeing a feminine energy that, again, if they're apologizing, it's not the apology, it's the initial reaction that is now creating a point of pause for you. It has nothing to do with whether the energy is available or not. Thank you for the gift. It has more to do with whether you feel like this is something that feels cyclical or something that you feel it can be corrected at this point. There may even be a point right now for the masculine that feels frustrating because this is almost feeling like an energy that like acts first, apologizes later, but even that feels like a bit of a cycle. Or this is a moment, masculine, that again, if you are the one that needs to do the apologizing, this is a question as to whether you feel like you're ready to do that. There may be even a moment of concession right now where you kind of recognize and see, you know what would be required to fix something. You may even be feeling the weight of this energy waiting for you to do so. But this is the moment that you're trying to ask yourself, Is this something that you still want to continue to move towards right now? Or is this anxiety that you're experiencing one that is sending you running in the other direction? Again, running towards something to fix it or running away from something because it's inspiring too much anxiety, too much doubt, too much fear. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now while for masculine and feminine energy in separation, this is that point of concession that we're effectively seeing. Feminine energy, it's not that feminine energy doesn't feel this passion or this desire right now. Feminine energy is just dealing with the weight of unhealed karmic connections right now at the same time, which is disempowering the feminine from seeking it out. It's almost this point where she's feeling very vulnerable to these unhealed karmic connections right now. And this is almost creating a space or place where it's like feminine energy is trying to figure out other places to channel that passion. It's the acknowledgement, again, and this is what's so difficult right now for the energy with the unhealed karmic connections. This is observing the fact that the unhealed karmic connection is still something that you carry a lot of passion for, but you recognize it is not beneficial for you. Feminine's feeling very vulnerable around that today, which is making it very hard for them, potentially even looking for other avenues to put that passion with a lot of trepidation. Now, for masculine energy in separation right now, this is a moment, and this could even be feminine shelving this until this kind of feeling passes, as it were. Masculine energy that is in separation right now, this is that moment that, again, you may be feeling a lot of frustration because you are feeling the weight of your own passion towards, again, an unhealed karmic energy. Potentially even recognizing that there is some availability towards coming towards this energy, but it is recognizing what you would have to do, what you would have to say to be able to come back into connection with this energy. Because this is an energy that is available to a certain extent, but it all depends on what you are going to communicate. Because the healing here is still prevalent and pervasive. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Six of Cups in its reversal and our Knight of Swords. May I please have one card to clarify? We like seeing this. This is a point of positivity. Now, for the masculine and the feminine energy in divine union right now, this is that moment that, again, masculine energy is working to jump to the defense of the feminine. Masculine energy is working to create a space or place for the feminine where they can feel open, vulnerable, truly at their highest expression. This is a masculine energy that is trying to, again, build up this feminine, recognize their own power. This is a feminine masculine energy. Where's the masculine energy right now in divine union and divine partnership? Putting that act of aggression towards unhealed karmic connections that they feel are a threat to the feminine energy. This is the problem right now because this is the difference in terms of what the masculine wants to do on some things versus what the feminine wants to do on some things. Because again, there's almost something where the feminine has opened to the masculine and it's related and resulted in masculine wanting to take immediate action on something to correct. And feminine's going like, no, don't do that. Masculine's going, but I think I should. And she's going, no, don't do that. Don't do that. You know, feminine's like, it's okay. I can handle it. I can manage myself. Masculine is either articulating to the feminine being like, okay, I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to tell you exactly what I would do. Like, this is how the masculine is helping. It's like, if I can't do these things that I want to do around these circumstances and situations, I'm going to at least articulate it to you so you understand exactly like what I actually would like to do. Potentially even to see if feminine will be open to it. Feminine is kind of seeing this. Again, this is the power of the divine union or the divine partnership. This is a feminine energy that, like, again, the expression of the unhealed karmic energy is one that feminine recognizes and sees that the masculine energy is doing everything in their power to help, support, and protect them on. And this is the empowerment of the divine union energy. Now, for masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership, this is that moment that is so vital and so important because, again, it is not about the fact that there isn't something here that needs to be healed. Feminine energy is leaving themselves open and available to it. They're watching to see which direction the masculine runs. Is this a masculine that runs towards a difficulty that falls together? Is this a masculine, like if there's something that's gone wrong, does it run towards the heart of the problem? Or is this a masculine energy that runs away? Feminine energy is just leaving themselves open and susceptible to those circumstances or situations, potentially even expressing to the masculine if they overstepped in some degree. They're potentially even opening up to the masculine about their own doubts and fears to see which direction the masculine runs. Masculine, again, this is a moment. It's not about the feminine here. You're trying to come into partnership with this feminine. You're seeing the feminine energy in this expression, but there's something here that is unhealed. And this is either, again, a moment that may feel like a bit of an internal conflict for you right now, because this is either something that you are running towards right now or running away from. And I will also point out that for some of the energies that are trying to come into partnership, there may be some heavy questions that are related to this that have to do with some outside unhealed karmic energy. There could even be one of the trigger points that may have occurred around this may have had something to do with unhealed karmic energy that is around these partnerships that are trying to come into divine union right now. And this is the moment that both are looking to the other to see, where are you running when things go difficult? Are you running back to them? Or are you running back to me? And that is why the feminine needs to be communicated with immediately, because the feminine energy is now assuming that if the masculine, who they saw some fear-based spaces with, if the masculine isn't communicating right now, feminine energy is feeling very secure that the masculine, the reason they're not communicating is not that they're running away from the feminine. Feminine is convinced that they're running back to an unhealed karmic. Masculine, that could be the case right now. That could be the heart of something here. You could also be feeling defensive because you see the feminine is also, again, mirroring you, potentially moving back into this direction as well. Now, masculine and feminine energy in separation. This is feminine energy that's not moving towards the masculine right now. Feminine is bearing the weight and the pain of some unhealed karmic energy that they're trying to alchemize and clear through. They're leaving themselves open and available to any energy that shows a conviction to come towards them right now. But feminine energy is not necessarily chasing after anything right now. They're just trying to find their own point of allowing that point of vulnerability to become a point of strength. This is almost a feminine energy. I'm going to say for a lot of the creative feminines right now, this could even be a lot of work that's done today in the arts, trying to channel what you're feeling into something that feels empowering and productive. Taking that vulnerability and turning it into raw, beautiful energy and appreciation, acceptance of the self. What we love to see for the feminine, even as they navigate some of this heaviness. Masculine in separation right now. This is the masculine energy feeling that conviction, feeling that frustration, feeling the weight of wanting to heal something, potentially even wanting to heal something with a feminine right now. But again, masculine energy and separation right now, this is a lot of energy that's effectively around you. You could even be feeling a point of confusion as it relates to what you're doing right now or where you're running. Because you may find or be feeling right now the weight of being in some circumstances or situations that you're actually identifying feel like unhealed karmic connections right now. This could even be a masculine energy in separation that move towards an unhealed karmic energy, is recognizing that it's still unhealed and is trying to effectively readjust their focus to where they know it should be. The problem is now all of the unhealed karmic energy in the way, which is either going to be representative of people around them right now that they're trying to move away from, or what needs to be healed in the connection towards an energy that they continue to gravitate towards. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Knight of Wands in its reversal and our Queen of Swords. May I please have one card to clarify? Oh, thank goodness. We have here our King of Cups, and we love to see this card today, because what are we really identifying right now? Masculine and feminine energy right now in partnership. There could be a lot of conversations right now that are potentially occurring, specifically related to outside energy that may be having an impact on the partnership. Feminine and again, masculine, there may be some difficult conversations right now, again, about feminine energy, discussing some energy towards the masculine energy in partnership right now. And the masculine energy doing everything they can to stay in a space or place, thank you for the gift, of emotional balance through this. Because there's an observation of masculine looking towards another masculine right now and being like, I don't like how they are speaking. I don't like how they communicate to you. I don't like what they said. I don't like the and this is either past trauma or present trauma. Masculine's feeling the frustration of seeing a feminine that they feel is too vulnerable. What is masculine doing in partnership right now? They're trying to stay emotionally balanced. Communicating it to the feminine right now is how they're doing so. There was almost potentially something here where they had to white knuckle something. This is masculine coming into a point of emotional balance with the feminine being like, again, like I said, I just need to tell you how I'm feeling. And the feminine, again, this is a point of appreciation that we're seeing for the feminine, which is, again, the feminine almost doesn't need to see the masculine take action in this. The feminine probably is even telling the masculine energy around some circumstances and situations, please don't. Please don't. But the reason that the partnerships are feeling so valuable and supported is because there's something here about the masculine energy emotionally communicating in this capacity that is saying, it is helping the feminine recognize the level or degree of care, of care and concern and protectiveness that the masculine feels towards the feminine energy right now, that is making the feminine energy feel truly seen and supported, even through some circumstances or situations that are creating some point of frustration or difficulty for them. This could even be masculine and feminine energy discussing these things together to figure out things in the same alignment. There could even be a point right now, I need to articulate this because we're seeing this right now, where there could be a bit of this vibration being returned back to the feminine as well. This could be the feminine opening up and saying, well, frankly, some of the unhealed karmic connections or energy around you also make me feel like that. This is where we see that beautiful reciprocity coming through. Thank you for the gift. Now, for masculine and feminine energy that is in a point of trying to come into partnership, which is now looking a lot like the separation energy. Thank you, eclipse. Thank you, new moon in Libra. This is, again, the problem with the feminine is leaving themselves open to the masculine energy. What's important right now to the feminine is seeing whether the masculine can come from a state or space where they can emotionally communicate. This potentially could even be a feminine energy taking the lead to a certain extent to articulate if they feel that they misspoke or misstepped, to say this to the masculine, to see if the masculine can reciprocate, i.e. proving that they're in a place where they're willing to grow and they're at a point of emotional balance, or if it isn't responding, if the lack of response is there, if the inconsistency is there, this is a feminine energy potentially just accepting things for what they are as they change their focus to seeking out a masculine energy that is already in a point of emotional balance. Because feminine energy, and this is where we see the partner, the energy is trying to come into partnership with the separation aligning again. This is a feminine energy feeling the sad weight of an unhealed karmic connection potentially that is forming, in recognizing that there is a limitation in terms of what the feminine can do. What is the one thing that the feminine energy cannot control? The reaction of the masculine. The only feminine energy is effectively coming to a point of concession for themselves and saying, I have done everything I can. This is either a masculine that has this ability and degree of emotional balance, or they don't. And if they don't, feminine energy is potentially working to break away from this energy now, i.e. even recognizing that they may create an unhealed karmic connection in the process. Masculine trying to come into partnership with feminine right now. This is, again, a moment that you recognize. You may have even, again, if this is a feminine energy that misspoke, they may have come forward today to give you this point of concession. Being very vulnerable, being very open, whatever kind of reactivity that you saw, it almost led to an immediate point of recalibration. And again, this is either leading you to a space or place where you yourself are also emotionally expressing, coming into a point of balance, i.e. healing. Feminine is opening up and vulnerable, you match them. Or this is you effectively, again, potentially moving away from this energy, choosing your own autonomy at this moment. Again, and this could potentially have to do with, again, I keep seeing this here now for some reason, some of this unhealed karmic energy that you are potentially identifying or seeing or experiencing around the feminine. This could have been the trigger point that caused some of this in the first place. Masculine and feminine energy in separation right now. This is it. Feminine energy is not necessarily feeling right now in the mood to chase after energy. They're still recovering from unhealed karmic energy that they feel has not necessarily either betrayed them in the past or feels like they were not trying to come into alignment. This is feminine energy trying to give themselves some space to feel the vulnerability in the connection they still feel towards those energies today, though not moving towards them. Staying in alignment with what it is that they truly desire, which is not that energy back. This is not the reason the feminine energy isn't moving towards an energy that they may still feel a lot of passion and connection for, is because that energy is not one they want back in the same way. They want that energy to come back to them in a point of emotional balance. Masculine, if you are in separation right now, again, this is a moment that could be feeling like a lot of struggle point in separation right now, because again, you could be feeling the weight of equally, much like the feminine, feeling that there is a feminine energy that is open, that is vulnerable, that is available to you right now, that is potentially even opened up in this way, but you potentially recognize that they're only available or open to you if you come to them from a space or state of emotional openness. That you could not move towards them specifically from a point of passion. The only way you could come towards them is if you're ready to be in a point of emotional balance. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between Queen of Swords in its reversal in combination with the Star energy. May I please have one card to clarify? Two cards coming out to clarify right now. Wow. Okay. All right. What are we seeing here? Okay. Now, for masculine and feminine energy in partnership right now, this is literally the conversation that may be occurring as it relates to what are we seeing that's happening? We saw that for the energies in partnership right now, there's something about the masculine not being completely open to the feminine about how they were feeling, potentially utilizing this time and space today to be more articulate on what they were holding back on. Again, this is masculine potentially saying to the feminine right now, this is what I think you should do. This is what I would ideally desire that you do in these circumstances or situations. Why is feminine saying to the masculine, thank you, but no thank you? Because masculine wants to take a lot of direct action on something right now, potentially even articulating how they feel about some unhealed karmic energy around the feminine right now, feeling the weight, maybe even articulating to the feminine that while they appreciate their own ability to carry something, it makes them feel very vulnerable to see them in that position or circumstance. This is potentially the feminine articulating to the masculine and saying, I appreciate that you feel that way around some circumstances or situations, but the reason I don't want you to proceed and take those actions is because it would create potential chaos. This is, again, potentially the feminine having to articulate to the masculine that something that they are saying that they desire to do may feel good in the moment, but is potentially short-sighted. And saying, I recognize that you're almost doing it to prove and to show your commitment to me. But it would create a big issue. It would potentially create a bigger issue. This is potentially even the feminine articulating this to the masculine. And maybe even like going about that to help articulate this. Masculine right now in partnership, you could almost be saying like, I get it. I understand your fears. I understand what you're feeling. But again, potentially saying, I want to do, and I need to stress this right now. I need to stress this right now. Masculine energy in partnership right now, I want you to make sure that you're clearing anything that you're deciding to do right now with your feminine, because I'm seeing here a masculine energy that's like almost going, even in partnership right now, it's going, but maybe I should do it anyway. Maybe I should do it anyway. Like, this is literally the masculine. Like, it's almost like the more, and this is a problem with this, is potentially why the masculine didn't want to talk about it with the feminine, because like the more, like, it's almost like the talking through with the feminine isn't necessarily convincing the masculine that it's a bad idea. It's almost like amping them up more about it. But again, it's going to feel like more of a struggle point for the masculine right now, because again, it's the frustration of weighing, you know, what you desire to do today versus what you want to do today. And it's going to, I'm going to say, I said this yesterday, I don't want anyone to do anything that's going to get them in trouble. Okay. Especially for the masculine right now. All right. I need to stress this because this is a masculine going like weighing this even in divine union and partnership right now. This is literally a masculine potentially articulating something to the feminine, and feminine going, don't do that. That'd be a terrible idea. And masculine still going, risk reward, but it would feel good, but it would feel good. Okay. Now for feminine, you could literally be saying this, the masculine, which is again, this is almost the feminine again saying, this is the feminine, the masculine's telling the feminine something potentially in partnership right now. And the feminine is trying to say to them, okay, that would be a terrible idea. But I deeply appreciate that that is the desire that you have to do something, because it shows me to the full capacity how much you care about me. You know, it's almost, I need to stress, it's almost like the feminine saying like, please don't do that. Please don't do that. But also, thank you for wanting to do that. You know what I mean? That is that point of, again, the masculine energy showing a balance in terms of emotionally articulating something that they desire to do, but also appreciating and respecting the feminine's own wishes as it relates to whether they actually are going to do it, i.e., divine union, divine partnership energy. Masculine and feminine energy trying to come into separation. This is literally, that's it. This is either the moment that leads to the collapse of the potential partnership, and it's going to feel like a point of crisis. Why is it going to feel like a point of crisis? Because where we see these energies right now, there's almost a moment of recognizing that you are creating unhealed karmic energy in the process of separating from something right now, because this is either a feminine that is desiring, that is opened up to a certain degree now, potentially even conceded if something was said that they feel like they shouldn't have said. So this is either masculine not reciprocating, i.e. creating a potential unhealed karmic connection that could lead to a tower moment. Or this is feminine energy that is effectively walking away from something because as much as they care, they're not seeing the masculine come into a point of healing, but only a space or place that seems to create continual crisis. Feminine energy is weighing the possibility of crisis versus the commitment here. And that is going to feel like a very complicated space for feminine right now, because again, this is waiting, this is reliant almost on the masculine energy, because this is an incredibly vulnerable feminine here, to see what the masculine is going to do in this moment, if they're going to create more chaos, or if they're going to actually come forward and hold fast to the commitment that they effectively promised that led to the possibility of partnership in the first place. Now, and I will even stress right now, for some of the feminine energy right now, this could have something to do with some outside feminine energy as well. There could be some point of observation that is occurring here too. Masculine right now, that is working to come into partnership. This is again a moment that you are effectively feeling that there is a feminine energy around you right now that is very vulnerable. That either, again, even if they spoke out towards you, you're either looking at that and recognizing the fact that that was a feminine energy that was coming from a point of weakness. You're identifying, if you're in emotional balance, that there was even potentially something where the feminine is articulating to you, I didn't mean what I said. I didn't mean to upset you. And this is either, again, an opportunity that you're actually weighing whether you want to come into commitment or not. Because there's something here that is triggering for some of the energy right now that is trying to come into partnership, whether you truly want to come into partnership at this moment, because there's some kind of anxiety for the masculine right now that partnership brings some inherent fear of crisis with it right now. There's something here about the anxiety, about the connectedness to the feminine energy right now. And I will also stress that to some of the masculine energy right now, there is something that is potentially happening. If you're trying to come into partnership, that you are recognizing that there's going to have to be some connection that you need to relinquish. Especially if there's been some observation of outside energy here. That again, it's almost like there's a crisis that would be required to move into commitment. There's a lot of separated energy right now for the masculine right now coming into partnership that is requiring some point of decision, because it's almost like some point of commitment is requiring an ending now in a big way. Now, for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, this is exactly why the feminine energy isn't moving towards commitment right now, because feminine energy is feeling the weight of a tower moment. This is feminine energy in separation that is feeling some moment where something about some connection to unhealed karmic energy to a certain extent, the weight of it is almost feeling debilitating right now. It may even be feeling like you're going through a point of deep crisis. So I want to say for the feminine energy going through this right now, I want you to take a lot of care with yourself right now, because it is the anxiety or the feeling that you're associating commitment with crisis. You may even be assessing and feeling like there is no possibility of commitment without crisis right now. That is something that you're trying to navigate through because you're feeling so triggered, you're feeling so vulnerable right now. So I want you to put a lot of care and attention into yourself right now, potentially even reaching out to other feminines to help build that point of support in this moment as you're experiencing this. Masculine energy in separation right now, again, this is also a moment that you are potentially feeling that, again, there is a feminine that you desire to move towards right now. But, and I need to stress this, for the energy in separation right now, there's something about this where there may be even more than one feminine energy around you right now. And this is now creating some kind of blockage as it relates to what it is that you desire to do right now, because this is creating almost like a crossroads moment for the masculine in separation. Something about what you actually desire versus what is available to you. And it's feeling like the weight of a crisis, because it's almost the fact that it's not about the energy that is available to you right now. It is what you truly desire right now that is almost making the commitment that you're in right now feel like a point of crisis, or the possibility of one. So this is also a lot of that unhealed karmic energy, something that needs to potentially be resolved or healed in some way to allow this feeling to effectively move away from you to a certain extent. It's almost like a carrying over of some unhealed karmic energy that's continually creating a state of crisis, potentially because there's like a continual point of like easement that needs to occur here in terms of like that between commitment. Continuing to get clarification. These cards are huge right now. King of Cups, Tower, Hierophant. Final card for today is 3, 4, 5 in the room. That makes sense. That makes sense. That tracks. That tracks. Now, what did I say about the masculine and feminine energy in partnership at this moment? Okay. Again, there's potentially a moment that is occurring in the partnership right now versus what masculine is saying they would really like to do versus feminine saying, I don't think that's a good idea. Or masculine trying to give feminine some advice on doing something and feminine's going, no, I am not doing that. Masculine being like, well, I think we should. I want to do this. I got to tell you how I really feel about something. And this is, again, masculine feeling a lot of this weight to a certain degree, even in partnership at this moment, because there's almost a moment right now where masculine is looking at some circumstances or situations, and this is what is so difficult, is they're almost preemptively looking at the ability of some unhealed karmic energy surrounding the partnership that may cause a point of chaos. There's a point right now where we're almost seeing masculine energy that is almost like trying to preemptively avoid a crisis that they're either feeling is happening outside the partnership, around the partnership at this time, or that is currently something that could happen and they want to like do some like, this is almost creating like emergency preparedness to a certain extent, with the masculine being like anticipating a problem and wanting to fix it either as it's occurring, feeling like it's occurring, or trying to preempt one before it starts. And this is really coming through from a space or place where, again, masculine is trying to be open about how they're feeling with the feminine so that they can weigh their options going forward. Feminine, you may be seeing this right now with the masculine. This could be a masculine. To the feminine right now, this could almost be feeling a little bit extreme. This could almost be feeling like the masculine is like looking at something and like looking at like the worst case scenario of something. This could even be a lot of conversations right now with masculine and feminine in partnership, talking about worst case scenarios to identify what to do. But what we like about this, and I think that this is important, is again, for the masculine and feminine energy that is in divine union right now, you're not necessarily taking action autonomously right now. You're literally doing this to decide how to proceed together. Masculine and feminine energy that is not in divine union, that is trying to come into partnership, this is the problem. Because feminine energy is looking at a circumstance or situation and they need to see right now that this is a masculine energy that maintains emotional balance, because the feminine energy is observing that if a masculine energy is continually reactive, then all it's going to create is a partnership, a committed partnership. It would be like feminine energy would be signing a commitment to live in a tower moment. That is why this is such a difficult decision for the feminine, because feminine needs to see that the masculine has this ability to maintain emotional balance, because if not, it would be feminine like subscribing themselves, committing themselves to something that would be constant chaos. And that is what the feminine is trying to observe in the masculine right now, to see how the masculine is going to respond. Are they going to show an ability of balance and commitment, or are they just bringing chaos? Feminine is not taking action through partnership beyond articulating and apologizing if they feel like they misspoke, to see and observe how the masculine reacts. Masculine that is trying to come into partnership at this moment, you are effectively trying to decide if something has reached a terminal point that cannot be recovered from, or if there is something here where the commitment to something is allowing a level of degree of you being able to emotionally commit to it. And this is also leading to a decision point. While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation right now, this is effectively identifying. This is that point of identification in terms of the feminine not wanting to move, feeling the weight of past experiences that almost feel like they're re-triggering, like a tower moment that's currently happening. But it's around the idea of partnership, the anxiety around partnership. Feminine is looking for masculine energy that's coming from balance because they don't want to welcome in more chaos. Feminine energy is just holding through right now through what is feeling like a lot of chaotic energy, recognizing and feeling like this too will pass. Right? This is like sheltering. This is like getting shelter from the storm as it occurs. While for masculine right now in separation, this is potentially also you experiencing a bit of a tower moment. Something about the tower moment that the masculine energy is currently experiencing is helping bring emotional balance. It's helping you really understand what it is that you truly desire commitment to. The problem with the masculine, again, if you're in separation, is this maybe feeling like there's something here that feels a little too late, like again, catching up to something. You're trying to decide what to do about it, how to correct the tower moment as it relates to what you're truly trying to commit to at this time. Bottom of the deck on this reading is patience. What did I say about reactivity? What did I say? Making sure that one is being careful, conscientious, patient, allowing time again. And I think that this is a bit of the difficulty right now. Feminine energy needs patience right now. Feminine energy is utilizing patience where they feel like they don't have any. Masculine, this could be the opposite right now. This could be that moment that you're feeling where you may have found that there's spaces and places that you thought time would be your ally, and you are now effectively discovering or feeling like that is the opposite has occurred. That time, again, we keep seeing this for the masculine. The feeling that time heals all wounds is not the case here. There's almost something that feels like it's requiring a decision before you're ready to make it, or fearing that something has occurred too late. For the masculine and feminine energy that are in partnership and union right now, this is all about getting your time back, utilizing time to the best of your advantage. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. Please keep in mind that if you book a reading on my site, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never PM you. I will never inbox you. I will never slide into your DMs and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. I want to thank you guys so much for being here with me today and sharing with me in these readings. And we will do this again tomorrow. Guys, it's a lot, but I think it's an improvement. We're seeing progress.